it's a weird thing. Like you don't like your sexual organs that you're born with. You identify with another gender, or at least you think you do. Identify with what they like more than what the boys like. And that's one of the things that they've studied is when they leave transgender or supposedly transgender youths and they don't do anything, they eventually become gay men.
Oh,
It's
I see.
a big percentage of them.
Yeah.
Does that mean they're all like that? And some people don't like genuinely have like true gender dysphoria? No, doesn't. That's always been a thing too.
And being gay used to seem like if you were just gay, that was everything. It was like, but I guess
Is it everything?
it was like gay didn't. It was like, oh, if you were trans or any, now it's LGBTQI, right? And I'm not,
There's also there's intersex
Plus.
there's two, but this is where I found out about this stuff because a buddy of mine who lives in Utah, his wife worked at a public school, and he told me that she told him that they were having a meeting because one of the parents had proposed putting a litter box in the bathroom because their kid thinks it's a cat.
Oh, that's crazy.
And he told me that. I talked about it on podcast, and people started saying that was transphobic. And this is a transphobic lie. And I was like, whoa.
So it wasn't a real
What does
story,
that
you
have
mean?
to do? But first of all, what does that have to do with transgender? What does that have to do with that? You're talking about someone who thinks they're a cat. Oh, how is that transphobic?
Yeah.
And then I realized, there's a lot of things connected in this one group that are not the same thing. Like, they're just trying to lump in every idea. Like, so it's like if you can't just transgender people on their own. Too many people are like, no, you can't go into the women's room. Get out of here. But then you add them to the gays.
Oh, I see.
You add them to the queers, which is like, what does that mean? And then if you're
more of a buffet of
what
folks.
is that? Two-spirit people, maybe straight, gay, bisexual, asexual, or queer. Yeah. Exactly. They're the people that want to pretend the most. I'm everything. I'm a boy.
Right,
I'm
they
a
want to play
girl,
the shell
I'm
game,
straight,
kinda.
You're a narcissist, probably. You're probably a loon. Or maybe you really have this two-spirit thing. I don't know. But there's a variety of things that are true at the same time. You're going to have people that are kooky, and you're also going to have people that unfortunately really do wish they were born a girl.
Yeah.
Both those things are real. But the thing about us as a species, if you're looking at these drops that are all clearly established markers in terms of testosterone levels, miscarriages, men who are incapable of having children, low sperm counts, smaller testicles and penises, like we're moving in a direction of looking like those aliens.
Well, that's what I've said this for years. If you look at an alien, their head is big, because that's the only thing that's going still, and their body is this useless sort of Christmas ornament.
Spindly, genderless thing. And genderless, like no.
That's stuck under a weighted blanket too, probably, dude. Bro, if you want to stop an alien, throw one weighted blanket on that bad boy.
I bet they don't interact with things.
Well, of course they don't, because everything happens in their head. It's all built in at that point. Why do you even need if you can just blink and come or whatever? And you just, you blink again and you have a mortgage, and then you cough and your parents are deceased. It's just like
there's no non-aware language. You speak every language. You know every fact about everything on Earth at any given moment. It's all in your head. There's no questions.
What was I seeing the other day? They're having gay animals now. Is that?
They were having gay animals. What are you saying?
If you pull that up, Jamie, if you see anything of it, or that animals.
What kind of request is that? Can I read the headline? Why are scientists ignoring all the gay animals?
Yeah.
Imagine, like, you're a scientist and you're trying to figure out how old the universe is, and that's the complaint you read first thing in the morning, and you're like, hey, there's other shit to worry about.
Hey, you telling me this otter ain't a homosexual?
I'm trying to figure out how old the universe is. That's why there's not a lot of federal funding for gay animals.
Oh, there is now.
Bro, you have to get funding for this stuff.
I'm sure we spent a bill on it, dude. You telling me you're not going to get a gay steak, dude, for an extra $20? You're not going to try it?
Especially if you're LBGT friendly. You want to support the gay steak market.
You have to.
Yeah.
But that's
what
the
if
next thing,
they start
though.
cheating, though, and encouraging straight cows to each other? Yeah. Just because they want that, because they realize there's more money in gay steaks.
Yeah. You're like, I'll take a steak. You're like, is it gay? You're
like,
you
listen,
fucking better be,
in
buddy.
the attention market that is social media, there has to be a few people out there that are pretending to be gay that aren't. Like, here's a good example.
For sure.
Here's a good example. There were a bunch of girls, and people got mad at them because they're hot female OnlyFans girls, and they started putting fake dicks in their pants.
Okay.
And pretending that they're trans, because that was getting them a lot more views.
Oh.
So apparently, the way to get a lot of views is to be a really hot trans person. Like, really hot trans people are in right now.
Oh,
like, really hot like a girl, like a super hot girl with a hog on you.
With that smoker.
Big old hog on you. So people got mad and started saying that my identity is not your costume. Like, the actual
like
trans
cultural
people.
appropriation kind of.
Yeah, but like, hey!
Right.
Are you doing that? Are you doing that? You have a dick and you're saying you're a girl, and then these girls who don't have a dick are putting a dick on, and you're saying you can't do that.
Oh, so they're all...
This is crazy.
Yeah, it's like we're caught in a blender, dude.
First of all, it's very short-sighted because you should be pro-trans even if it's fake trans.
Right.
If that would make more people into trans people, that'd be better for everybody.
Right, no matter what. This is what I wonder sometimes. Do you think that science has us headed so we were all... that everyone is going to be trans at what? Like it's all merging?
Yeah, I think we're going to be genderless, really. Go to that article again. I want to see what they were saying. What were they saying?
It said it was only 2 of them. I don't know how.
Oh,
it could have spread since
not on my Instagram
September.
feed.
So
There's a gang
they
of
might
them.
have started a trend.
They're all over the place. OnlyFans models. Can I just read that? Yeah. OnlyFans models are targeted by online LGBTQ mob after posing in underwear with fake bulges. That's so crazy. That's so crazy. That's so hypocritical.
I wonder, dude, I heard Jelly Roll's got that thing on him. I heard he's got a real.
I bet he does. Look at that. Just 2 boys being silly alongside a trans flag. How can you get mad? How can you get mad?
Got that donkey
But
on him.
you can't get mad because that violates, like, you're saying that your standards are more important than them doing this thing to get attention.
Yeah.
That your standards of what's real is not real. Like, no.
Right.
It doesn't work that way. Like, because the only way, because then it's only your standards. Because if you want that kind of a strict control of the way people view things, you're going to allow people to turn that on you. And there's going to be way more people that have a hard time with you saying that you're a woman when you have a dick than there's going to be for a bunch of girls who just want to take pictures when they have fake bulges.
Yeah.
That doesn't make... You're just being a control freak. Like, you can't have no fake trans people, but only real trans people, but don't let anybody...
Right, it's like saying you can't
control of who decides what's real and what's not real.
Right, it's almost the same with like a lot of cultural appropriation stuff. At a certain point, it just gets ridiculous. It's like you can't,
Did you see that one dude who faked it for like 6 months?
Fake being black?
He faked. No, you can't do that anymore.
I'm not doing it.
No, he faked being a woman. You know that dude? He was on like one of those reality shows, and he had all the tattoos. He was like good-looking guy, which is why it was crazy. And he said he was transitioning, and it was just he did it for like 6
just
months.
Meeting chicks?
No, just like making videos online where people get mad at him. But he kept it up forever. That dude. Explaining Josh Cedar's trans hoax, alleged fake death, and why Monica Beverly Hills is involved. I don't know who Monica Beverly Hills is.
Me neither.
So this guy, it was very smart. He said he's been undergoing a crash out of the most epic proportions.
So he was pretending to be trans, Joe?
Yes.
Okay.
For a long time. Okay, here it goes. Scroll up a little bit. Here it goes. The former reality TV star has gone viral on social media for the worst reasons. That's definitely not the worst reason.
Yeah.
Allegedly faking his own death and claiming it was a hack, as well as pretending to be trans and posting photos of himself in feminine clothes as an experimental mockery of trans people that he claims is exposing the woke mind virus. But that's not the worst reasons. The worst reasons is like you killed a bunch of folks. The worst reasons you lit a school on fire. That's the worst reasons. Like, that's not the worst reasons for going viral. Because why did he pretend to be trans? He came out as a trans woman. He gave interviews with the public, like Page 6.
But are there people that aren't came out as a trans woman? Okay. So this guy just pretended to be trans for a long time.
A long time.
So he was making a mockery of them.
He said 5 months. So he did it for 5 months. So
What I did was
in
fake being
October,
a
5
faker.
months later, he said that it was all a social experiment on an episode of the conservative podcast Prime Time with Alex Stein. Sider said the purpose was to expose how gullible and delusional the left is. What I did is I faked being a faker, he said. I pretended to be a pretender.
But
Yeah, well, that's
Right.
The thing is, like, people don't want to admit that he's correct because it makes you insensitive. But what he's saying is like logical.
Right.
It's logical.
And so, what if people are actually trans? Are some people actually trans?
You would have to ask them.
Okay.
Therein lies the problem.
I see.
I think there are people that are not, though. There's people that are perverts, for sure, and pretend to be trans so they can go to women's rooms. For sure.
Oh yeah.
For
That's
sure.
at LAX.
For sure. I'm not accusing all of them. I'm just
No,
saying
but I've seen it.
you're going to have that if you have this thing, this
This
new thing,
loophole.
this new thing. When I was a kid, if a guy with a beard and a dress tried to go into the women's room, men would go in there and beat the fuck out of him.
Yeah.
They wouldn't let that happen. They would say, "Oh, that guy's a pervert."
And if a woman went into the men's room, we tell her to bring a couple of her friends. You know what I'm saying? But still,
This-
in a
I'm saying
respectable
this
way.
about-
Or you would guard the door while they were urinating. That was another thing. If a woman said, "I really need to urinate in here," you know.
Yeah, well, no one would care. All I'm saying is, if you want to be a person who is open-minded and who's compassionate and who just wants to let people live and let live, you can't get mad at these girls putting rubber pants. You can't. It's too
Well,
stupid.
it's like somebody dressing up like for someone for Halloween. I feel like,
Yeah.
right?
A little bit.
Like
But you could say that's what they're doing, though.
I see what you're saying.
You know?
so
Look,
you're
there's-
saying you're making your own
Yeah.
Halloween. So
Yeah,
you can't be
I'm
upset if we
saying
make a Halloween.
You can say you're a girl. You can
Yeah.
say you're a girl, and you can be a guy with a
Hold
beard
on, let me
and
think
long
about it.
nails and say you're a girl. But you can't make me go along with it.
I see what you're saying.
I'm not saying that you can't say you're a girl. I'm not saying that you can't call yourself a new name. But if we're in this weird aggressive situation and you want me to say you're a girl so that you can go do girl things in the girls' room, and like, you can't make me agree to that.
Right.
That's where it gets crazy. Like,
Yeah.
if you're not infringing on anybody else's space, like, there's a reason girls don't want to be in a bathroom with dudes.
yeah.
And if it's like trans men in the men's room, men don't give a because women aren't going in there to rape men,
Right.
right? So that's the difference. They're women that think they're men. No one cares. If a woman who thinks she's a man wants to enter into men's sports, no one's going to stop her.
Right. Because sometimes it's all one direction, isn't it? Isn't it always men going to women's stuff?
Well, for sports, for sure. Look, there have been women that have turned trans and competed against boys. That it definitely has happened. But the striking dominance that you see where trans men or trans women, biological men who identify as women, compete against regular biological women in sports.
Yeah.
It's crazy. You get people with like
I would just want to.
it's a delusion. It's
Yeah.
just a delusion that you shouldn't let in. If you want to have an all trans league, do that.
That's what we should do. I feel like it seems like there should be that, so that then.
It's just a cheat code. You can't just say you're a girl. You're not a girl. Let's do a DNA test. Let's do a chromosome test. Oh, look, XY. You're a guy.
Will DNA tell you the truth every single time? Will that answer always be the?
Your fucking chromosomes will.
Okay, so there's no.
Look, there's going to be a variable thing. There's going to be a thing even with that, right? So if you have like male and female, all male and all female are not created equal. There's a giant curve between like the most manly man and the most womanly man.
Oh,
and
yeah.
then the most manly woman and the most womanly woman. Like there's this giant curve that all it means to be a human being. I can't tell you where you are in that curve.
Yeah.
I don't know what you are you, man. You be you. I'll be
I'm
me.
doing fine.
I want you to be happy. But you can't
what?
pretend you're in that other group. You can't, especially if you are the male pretending you're a female
Yeah.
and you want to enter into like women's rooms. You can't do that because there's too much of a potential for that to be abused by creeps.